Just go through the observation report.
Yeah.
We completed this on the start of October. Have you got any questions about it? If you read it through again,
Yeah, I've read it through. Yeah.
And are you comfortable with everything that we're doing today?
Yeah.
And you understand the observation that we're doing?
Yeah.
Excellent, okay. So we're going to look to meet the criteria for Unit 225, which is using the pedestrian controlled equipment, which today you've got a mower. Have you got access to a mower?
Yeah.
And you've got access to the correct PPE?
Yeah.
Excellent, okay. You've completed your risk assessment, which is great preparation. So we'll just quickly talk through this. So you've looked at the risks that you've got. Do you want to talk me through a couple of them?
Yeah. Obviously, using anything that contains fuel and everything, you've got, the risk of fuel leaks.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of grassed areas, amenity areas.
Yeah. And what's the control measure you've got to reduce that risk?
Well, to always do pre-start checks,
Yeah.
make sure that the machine's in working order. Always check the machine afterwards in case there's been any knocks and anything.
Yeah.
Make sure you're always wearing the correct PPE so there's no contamination.
Yeah.
And always have spill kits available, so if there is a fuel leak, you can contain it and bag inside it, and
So when you're filling up the machine, where would you put there fuel leaks whilst using the machine, and you've also got about filling up the machine. So where would you fill up the machine?
In the
depot.
Yeah, in the
Could you
depot.
give me examples of places where you wouldn't fill up the machine?
On grassed areas.
And why would that be?
Obviously, it can cause environmental damage. It can kill, the grass and amenity areas and stuff. It's built on grassed areas.
Okay. Right, that's great. If you could just sign that for me to say that you completed that. That's great that you did that beforehand as well. Okay, and then you date it for today. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, when would you review this again?
12 months from now.
12 months, and is there any other times that you might review it?
If ever there's an incident.
You looked at the criteria there, so before any observations, talk through the risks and hazards.
Yeah.
So that's great. So we've met that piece of criteria.
Yeah.
But throughout, if I see a risk that might raise up, I might look at stopping the observation, or pausing it and just talking through it.
Yeah.
But for the preparation, that's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So what should we move through now to the mowing area?
Yeah.
And look at the machine. Okay, Marcus. So this is the machine that we've chosen to use.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk me through the health and safety? But first of all,
So obviously check the fuel. That's full. And then check the oil. Make sure that the machine's on level ground to get an accurate reading. And then carefully wipe it off. Put it back in. Take it out and that'll give you an accurate reading. It's full. Another check is to make sure the guard over the exhaust is intact to stop the risk of any burning or any build-up of debris such as leaves and grass clippings, which can pose a fire risk. So make sure that's intact properly. It's covering the exhaust. Coming around the back, just check where the bucket goes. There's no build-up of debris. The actual flap itself is intact and securely fastened.
okay, so we're now at the area you're going to cut, which meets the criteria for today. But just need to know now what the process is that you would follow in your normal day-to-day routine.
Well, send up to any site, you'd conduct a quick site analysis.
Okay.
Make sure there's no loose debris on the floor which could damage the blades.
And what sort of debris could you find?
Generally like branches, stones, stuff like that.
And what would you do with them? What would you do with them if you found them on the ground?
I'd collect it all together and dispose of it in the wheelbarrow and put it on the side.
What sort of things could you actually recycle?
Plastic trays. You can recycle the glass as well in the correct bin.
Okay.
Stuff like branches and twigs.
Yeah.
And obviously, grass clippings and.
Okay. No problem. Okay, so if you want to check over the area, and then we'll just talk quickly through the process of the observation.
Yeah, no problem.
PPE, and what are you wearing today?
Work overalls, steel toe cap boots,
Right.
gloves.
No problem. So I'll just check them over. From here, because you're using a piece of machinery, with regards to the observation, I'll let you get on with the observation, and I'll stop you when I'm satisfied that you've met the criteria, or if I feel that there's any danger. So if you carry on with the observation as you would just be normally working, I'll just stand to one side, make my notes, and then at the end, like I say, I'll stop you, and then we'll just go into we'll go and talk through the what you've done and how you've met the criteria. Okay. If you'd like to start up. So you're going to clean down the machine. What's your procedure for cleaning down the machine? Talk through it.
Well, stuff like grass clippings and debris like that we use to clean off with the air compressor.
Okay.
And then going in further than that, you can use, a rag, water, that kind of thing. But general clean off is compressed air.
Right. And then do you do any processing for nuts and bolts and things?
Yeah, we'll check over the machine again like we did for pre-start checks. Make sure there's no damage. Make sure everything's still fastened on properly. Everything's still in working order.
Yeah. And how will you keep those moving parts supple?
Make sure that the guards are always in place.
Okay. And with regards to the wheels and the moving parts?
Make sure they're greased and lubricated.
Excellent. Okay. I'm going to, obviously with the compressor being the type of machine it is, I'm going to take a stand back because you've got the safety gear on and I haven't. So I'll just be standing over there, so if you can just give it a quick clean down,
no problem.
And then we'll put the machine away. Okay, Marcus, how did you feel that went today?
Yeah, I think it went well, yeah.
Yeah? Is there any areas that you felt uncomfortable or you felt particularly comfortable?
No, I was comfortable with all of it, to be honest. Pre-start checks, actually using the machine, then cleaning the machine up afterwards and checking it over.
Okay. Okay then, and just talk through the criteria that you met today. So obviously AC 1.1, ensuring the pedestrian control powered equipment is safe. Well, you did all the pre-start checks safely and to industry standards, and you were also you made a point of checking the blades out, and you felt that they were safe, which is a company procedure. Okay, so you met that criteria. Using equipment to manufacturer's instructions, you pointed out all the labels and everything that you need to use as guidelines when using the machine. Is there anything you could have done as well that you could have there with you that would help you with any manufacturer's guidelines as well?
Yeah, you could have the manufacturer's handbook for the actual machine itself.
And do you have copies of them within the workplace?
Yeah.
Are they kept here or in the...
Yeah, they're kept in the depot.
So you could always refer to that too as well, but you know that those labels are there for a purpose with regards to a quick guide.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, going to the end of the task, you cleaned down the equipment, you were able to describe the company procedure to me, and you were also demonstrated cleaning off the machine and putting it and locking it away, which I'll refer back to in a moment when we go through the feedback. Maintaining the equipment, so you carried out the correct checks beforehand, which we talked about for AC 1.1, and also at the end you talked through and demonstrated cleaning down the machine. So that's the industry guidelines that we're set to clean. Okay, PPE. You talked through PPE. You were confident when you talked through it.
Yeah.
You had all the PPE with you, and you checked it as well, and you were confident enough to give it to me to check. It wasn't so good at the start when we had the issue with the machine, but it was good for you because you were able to demonstrate your company policy, and you demonstrated that well.
Yeah.
And also you asked for help when you needed it with regards to starting the machine, so that's fantastic. Okay, it was fantastic and great that you completed your risk assessment beforehand and you were able to talk through and make it relevant to today's task. So that was great, and that's very good practice to do that beforehand. I also observed you stopping the machine when a member of the public was passing, and I just wanted to point that out because that was good practice. So I think that's a well done for that one.
Just to make sure there's no debris coming out of the pedestrians.
That's fantastic. Excellent. Okay. With regards to carrying out work in a manner which minimises environmental damage, will you demonstrate filling the machine up in the depot rather than at the grass?
Yeah.
So that was good practice as well. And you recycled all your waste, and you were able to demonstrate that as well as talk through it. So that's great. Is there anything you want to add to those points?
No, I think we've covered everything.
And do you feel confident that you can complete this type of work throughout and moving forward?
Yeah, I feel confident. Yeah.
Okay. So, and how did you find the observation today?
It was just once you start, working, it kind of it just falls into the background. You don't really notice. Yeah.
Is there anything that I could have done differently that would have made it better for you, or?
No, I think it was carried out well. I mean, he wasn't, getting in the way, or you were well back, and whenever there was an issue, you pointed it out and stuff. So in that regards, no, I think it was
excellent. Okay. So with regards to the task today, obviously, it's not a pass or a fail. It's about competence. So, and I've watched you cut the area, and I've heard you talk through your pre-start checks and cleaning the machine afterwards. So I've made a note of the bits that I felt were good, which I've just talked through with you. I've also in the comments I've highlighted the machine that you've used. So today it was a Kawasaki pedestrian mower, so that's good. So and then you use that machine within industry guidelines. The final cut I felt was neat and tidy. Good straight lines, and you were using the wheel as a guide, which is a good practice to do. So you weren't leaving any cuts down the centre or any. Okay. Also as well, I've cross-referenced over into Unit 201 for health and safety. So I've cross-referenced over to AC 1.6. Which is maintaining the security of the workplace in accordance with organisational requirements. And that was when you locked up the machine in the depot, and also it was quite evident that when you were going in and out of that lock-up area, it was being locked, so it was secure. AC 2.1, using equipment and materials in accordance with manufacturing instructions. Well, that goes back to with regards to the checking of the labels and being able to talk through them confidently, and also knowing where the handbook is if you need to refer to it. AC 2.2, transporting any equipment and materials safely and storing them safely. Well, you stored it safely, but you also took it over to the depot. You didn't start the machine up in the depot and transported it. You stopped the machine and then started it at the place of work that you were going to work, which was good practice. And then the last one was AC 6.6 in 201, and that's working in a way which minimises the risks to yourself and others, and minimising those risks. And by completing the risk assessment, you met that criteria. So that was great. So today, I felt that you've met a very high level of competence, and you've demonstrated that level of competence. So that's good. So I'm okay to sign off this unit. So what we just need to do now is You need just to confirm that obviously it was all your own work
Yeah.
and nobody's completed anything for you. And if you could just sign for it and date it today.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I do the same. My name there. Now you'll see there that there's a space for another signature. We have what we call an internal verifier that could sample this work to check that he feels that it does meet the criteria.
Yeah.
If that is the case, what you'll see in your folder is a red signature and also the date that he sampled the work. If he feels that there is issue with the work or my observation of you, he will notify me that if he feels that we need to sort of, it might just be a case of that we haven't met the criteria on one of the ACs, so we might just need to revisit it.
Yeah.
But that would only be in the case of him checking it.
Right.
Okay. This work now will get transferred into your file, and we'll cross-reference it over into all the units that are in your file, and we'll sign off that one unit if you've completed the knowledge evidence.
Yeah. Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, are you happy with everything?
Yeah, I'm happy.
At the review stage, we tend to look at what units they've got left to complete for their portfolio and what items they've still got to show competence in. So we try to plan a general plan in the review, and then we agree a date to meet up and talk through what I've got an observation booklet. The observation booklet details the criteria that needs to be met during the observations, and also guidelines on what they can do to meet that criteria. So it gives them time beforehand to look at what skills they've got and see if they need any extra training or any extra guidance from their employers. And we sit down and we go through that booklet and we look at what needs they have, and we put a plan in place so they can look to meet the criteria and improve their skill base. We then agree a date for an observation, and then the student then has a minimum of 2 weeks where they can prepare for that observation. So they'll prepare things like the location, the task that's being completed, and things like risk assessments, and making sure that booklets are there if need be.
The benefits to myself is obviously making sure that I'm competent in the workplace, which obviously betters my work skills and is a direct reflection upon the council, which is also important, and obviously working in a manner that's safe towards other colleagues and members of the public, and basically just giving myself a better sense of confidence to perform tasks within the workplace. I felt pretty good about it. I mean, it wasn't intrusive at all. You're allowed to just, basically start the task, and once you obviously get into the actual task of working, the assessment actually just goes into the background, and you don't really know it's there. So it's very good. It helps settle you down. It's not, like I said, it's not very intrusive, so it helps settle you down, and it feels really good.